Nisha grew up in a small motel called Maple Street Inn. When she was a baby, she learned to walk in the motel halls. The floor was shiny and smelled like cleaning spray. The air always smelled like two things: her mother's chai with cardamom, and her father's strong bleach he used for cleaning. Now Nisha was 22 years old. The motel still smelled a little like cardamom and bleach, but also like many other people. It smelled like cheap perfume, cigarette smoke, and sometimes gasoline from trucks that parked outside at night. One day, her father called her from the office. "Beta, are you listening?" he said. Nisha snapped out of her daydream. They were standing in the small office behind the front desk. There was an old computer, a stack of papers, and a small statue of Ganesh on the shelf. "Yeah, Papa, I'm listening," she said, even though she had not heard everything. Her father turned the computer screen towards her. "Look," he said. "This is new booking system. When guests call, you must write full name, credit card, driver's license. Not like last week. That man left without paying." Nisha rolled her eyes a little. "He left at 4 a.m., and you were downstairs." "Not me," she said quietly. Her father ignored her comment. "System is only as good as the people using it," he said. "You understand." Nisha's phone buzzed in her pocket. She saw a notification. It was from her podcast app. It said, "New comments on Brown Noise, Episode 7, When Your Parents Love You and Don't See You." Nisha's heart jumped a little. She was the secret host of that podcast. No one in her family knew. On the podcast, she used the fake name, Halfway Home. She made episodes late at night, talking about how it felt to be a child of immigrants. She said things like, "Sometimes it feels like my parents crossed an ocean, but won't walk across the living room to see who I really am." She could never say that to their faces. Her father spoke again. "Your MCAT application," he said. "Have you started?" The MCAT was a test you needed to take to go to medical school. Her parents wanted her to become a doctor very badly. "In progress," Nisha lied. She had not started. "Good," her father said. "No more wasting time. You finished college now. It is time to be serious. We worked hard so you can become doctor." "Or maybe something else," Nisha said, trying to sound calm. "Like engineering. Or data science. Or doctor," her father said again, with a hard face. Her mother walked into the office. Her green dupatta was slipping from her shoulder. "There are guests in room 12 asking for more towels," her mother said. Then she looked at Nisha's face and added gently, "And don't stress your papa. He worries because he loves you." Nisha nodded and went to get towels from the laundry room. Love, in her house, was like a heavy blanket. It was warm but also made her feel trapped. Later that day, Nisha carried a plate of hot samosas up the stairs to room 24. She also held some books under her arm. She knocked. The door opened. It was Mr. Caldwell, a guest who had stayed there for many months. He was a kind old man with a big belly and a Cleveland Browns t-shirt. "Oh, wow, smells amazing," he said. "You bring the good stuff today." "My mom made extra samosas," Nisha said. "I begged her to share." "I keep telling your dad," Mr. Caldwell said, "you all should open a real restaurant. I would eat there every day." Nisha smiled. "Maybe one day," she said. She really did dream about that. Their town, Mapleton, in Ohio, had no Indian restaurant. It had lots of burger places and pizza, and one fancy restaurant. Nisha sometimes imagined a small cafe with a sign that said, "Masala and Maple." She imagined serving chai, spicy fries, and waffles with cardamom. It would be a place that felt half Indian, half American, just like her. "You going to medical school soon?" Mr. Caldwell asked. "Or some other big school?" That question hurt a little. Not yet, Nisha said. I am taking a year to figure things out. He nodded kindly. You will be fine, kiddo, he said. You are smart. Smarter than most folks in this town. Nisha thanked him and went back downstairs. That night, when it was very late and most guests were asleep, Nisha went into the laundry room. She closed the door behind her. The room smelled like soap and warm clothes. She opened her laptop and clipped a cheap microphone to her t-shirt. Her heart beat fast. It always did right before recording. She pressed the red button. Hi everyone, she whispered. It's halfway home. Welcome to episode 8 of Brown Noise, the podcast for kids of immigrants who feel stuck between their parents' dreams and their own lives. She paused, listening to her own voice in the headphones. Outside, she heard rolling wheels as someone pulled a suitcase along the floor. Tonight I want to talk about invisibility, she said. Not like superheroes. The kind where people like us feel like we should hide. She took a deep breath. My parents own a cheap motel, she went on. They clean toilets, wash sheets, smile at guests, even when people make jokes about curry smell, or ask if they are those Muslims from the news. They say, we came here for you. But what they mean is, don't make noise, don't make trouble, just be successful and be quiet. Her eyes stung a little. But I dream about making noise, she said softly. What if hiding doesn't keep us safe? What if it just makes us disappear? She spoke for a long time, sharing her fears and hopes. When she finished, she uploaded the episode and scheduled it to go online. Then she turned off the light and walked back to the front desk to study. She didn't know it yet, but her words would soon change everything. A few days later, Nisha's mother came into the office holding a piece of paper. This came with the mail, she said. Look. It was a colorful flyer. At the top it said, Community Town Hall, Maple Street Corridor Revitalization Project. What is this, revitalization? Her mother asked, sounding out the hard word. Her father read it. His face grew dark. It says they want to make new luxury apartments and shops, he said. They call this area low-value properties. They mean us, he added bitterly. Our motel. Nisha's heart squeezed. It's not just us, she said. There are other buildings here too. But she was scared too. Their whole life was there. The flyer said there would be a town hall meeting next Thursday at City Hall. People could speak at the meeting if they wanted. Her father tossed the paper on the desk. These things are decided already, he said. People like us don't change anything. We stay quiet. We survive. This is our home and our job, Papa, Nisha said. We can't just hope they forget to knock us down. He shook his head. You think they like us, he said softly. They tolerate us. That is all. Don't give them a reason not to. That night, Nisha went back to the laundry room. She turned on her microphone. Hi, it's halfway home, she said. Today I found out the city wants to tear down the street where I live. They want to build nice condos and shops for rich people. They called places like my parents' motel low value. She swallowed. I used to think the worst thing was being invisible, she said. But now I think being seen as trash might be worse. She did not say the name Mapleton. She did not say Maple Street Inn. But she did say, brown motel owners on the edge of town. It was enough. A few days later, Nisha's friend Maria sent her a bunch of screenshots. OMG, is this you? Maria wrote. They are talking about your podcast in the Mapleton Moms Facebook group. Nisha opened the screenshots. People were posting angry messages. I listened to this, Brown Noise, podcast. This girl is calling our town racist. Ridiculous. If it's the Maple Street Inn, I stayed there once. It smelled like curry. Maybe clean better before blaming racism. We just want safer, nicer streets. Why are we the bad guys? Some people defended her a little. She is talking about feelings and trauma, not calling each person racist. Maybe we should listen instead of getting angry. But a lot of the comments hurt. Her father came into the office, holding the phone in his hand. Some man called, he said. He asked if we are the motel from the podcast. What podcast? Nisha's throat went dry. Probably a scam call, she said quickly. Wrong number. Her father frowned but said nothing. Meanwhile, Nisha's podcast kept getting more listeners. Many kids of immigrants wrote to her. I feel the same way. My parents also say, keep your head down. I am tired. Thank you for saying this out loud. Nisha felt scared but also proud. She was finally saying the things stuck inside her for years. The night of the town hall meeting came. City Hall was a tall red brick building with white columns. The parking lot was full. Nisha walked in with her mother and father. Her dad wore his best blazer. Her mom wore a green salwar suit. Inside, there were many people. Some wore suits. Some looked like regular townspeople. There were posters showing pictures of shiny new buildings with trees and cafes. A woman from the city council, in a navy dress, started the meeting. The developer showed a slideshow. He said words like revitalization, modern living, and better property values. It all sounded very nice, if you didn't own one of the old places they wanted to tear down. Then the woman said, now we will hear from the public. The first speaker is Nikhil Patel. Nisha's father stiffened. That's me, he said. You two stay here. No drama. He walked to the microphone. Nisha hugged herself tightly. My name is Nikhil Patel, he said. His voice shook slightly. My wife and I own the Maple Street Inn. We bought it 12 years ago, when it was almost dead. We fixed it. We cleaned it. We work very hard so people have safe place to sleep. He looked down at his paper. This motel is our only income, he said. If you take it, we have nothing. The council lady smiled in a fake kind way. Thank you, Mr. Patel, she said. As we said, there will be generous payments. Money is not same as home, he said. But his time was up. The microphone turned off. Nisha felt something explode inside her chest. Before she could stop herself, she stood up. The council lady read from the list. Next. Nisha Patel. Her father turned around with wide eyes. His face clearly said, don't you dare. But Nisha walked to the microphone anyway. She adjusted it down to her height. Hi, she said. Her voice sounded small in the big room. My name is Nisha Patel. I grew up on Maple Street. My parents own the motel you call low value. There were some whispers. Someone in the back said, that is the podcast girl. Her cheeks burned. But she kept going. You call our place ugly and unsafe, she said. But I see something else. She looked at the crowd. I see truck drivers who are tired and need sleep, so they don't crash their trucks when they bring you your packages. I see families who don't have money for fancy hotels, who stay with us when they visit sick family in the hospital. I see people who got kicked out of their houses and need a cheap place to stay while they look for a new job. She took a breath. I also see how some of you look at us, she said. I know you lock your car doors when you drive by. I know some of you wrote online that our motel smells like spices and that we are changing the neighborhood. Someone gasped. Someone else muttered, that is not fair. It is fair, Nisha said, voice shaking but louder now. Because it is true. I have lived it. She went on. For years, my parents told me to be quiet, she said. To be grateful. To not make trouble. They thought it would keep us safe. But being quiet didn't stop this. She gestured at the posters. You still decided our place wasn't good enough to keep. She looked straight at the councilwoman. You say you want to revitalize this town, Nisha said. But you want to do it by erasing people like us. You want new buildings, but you don't care where we go. Her hands were shaking. But she kept speaking. If you really want to make Mapleton better, she said, start by seeing us as people. We are not just low-value properties. We are part of this town's story. Please don't build your fancy homes on top of our broken hearts. The room was very quiet when she finished. Then a few people clapped. Then a few more. Some faces looked angry, others thoughtful. The councilwoman smiled tightly. Thank you, Miss Patel, she said. We appreciate your comments. Nisha walked back to her seat. Her legs felt wobbly. Her father stared straight ahead, his face stretched tight. They went home in silence. Back at the motel, they parked the car. The old Maple Street Inn sign buzzed weakly above them. What were you thinking? Her father burst out. Saying those things on camera? Talking about racism? You made us look ungrateful. I didn't make us look ungrateful, Nisha said. I made us look real. You called them racist, he said. I called out what they are doing, she answered. Her mother stepped forward. Enough, she said softly. We are all tired. We talk later. But Nisha could not hold it back anymore. You are always telling me to be small, she said to her father. To not draw attention. You say it is for my safety. But it feels like you don't see me. I cannot breathe like this. And you think shouting at City Hall will fix your life? He asked. No, she said quietly. But never speaking feels worse. He looked hurt, like she had slapped him. Her mother put a hand on Nisha's shoulder. Tomorrow, she said. Tonight, we rest. The next day, the video of Nisha's speech was all over the internet. Someone posted it on Facebook. Someone else posted it on Twitter with a caption. Daughter of immigrant motel owners tells city council the truth, and I am crying. Comments poured in from all over. My parents own a small store. This feels just like my life. I grew up above my parents' laundromat. Thank you for saying this. I live near Mapleton. I never thought about that motel this way. I will now. Of course, some people were mean. Just move if you don't like it. Stop playing the race card. But there were many kind voices too. One evening, Nisha sat in the office scrolling through her phone. Her father was also there, sitting at the computer. She saw his screen reflected in the window. He was watching her speech again on mute. People from India called today, he said suddenly. Your aunt in Ahmedabad. She saw the video on WhatsApp. Oh no, Nisha muttered. She said, he went on, that you speak better Hindi than your cousin in London. His lips twitched. She also said you look too skinny. Nisha laughed. That sounds like her. They were quiet for a moment. You were very bold, her father said finally. I was very scared, Nisha replied. But I could not stay quiet anymore. He looked at her carefully. For the first time, his eyes were soft, not just worried. In my village, back in India, he said slowly, if you talk to powerful people like that, they might hurt you. Or your family. When we came here, we promised to stay small, to not attract attention. That is how we protect you. I know you were scared, Nisha said. Your fear lives in your body. But I think my fear lives in mine too. Fear of staying small forever. He sighed deeply. When I listened to your podcast, he said, and Nisha's eyes went wide, I was angry at first. You said many hard things about us. I am sorry, she whispered. I didn't want to hurt you. But, he added, you also said many true things. She looked up in surprise. We did tell you to stay small, he said. We built walls around you and called it love. Maybe we did not see how heavy the walls were. A tear rolled down Nisha's cheek. I don't want to throw away everything you worked for, she said. I just want to build something too. I want us to build together. Her father was quiet for a long time. Tomorrow, he said slowly, we meet with a lawyer about this development. Maybe we cannot stop it. But maybe we can ask for more. A better deal. Nisha nodded. Okay. And? He hesitated. If we get enough money, maybe we do not buy another motel. She stared. Then what would we do? He gave a small smile. Your mother says she is tired of washing strangers' sheets. She wants to cook for people who actually say thank you. He looked at her. And you always talk about a cafe. Her heart jumped. Masala and maple, she whispered. Maybe something like that, he said. I cannot promise. But we can think about it. And if you still want to try to become a doctor, we will support you. If you want to do something else, we will. Try to understand. He winced playfully. No promise about not complaining. Nisha laughed through her tears. Complaining is your superpower, she said. He chuckled too. And loud talking is yours. He reached out and patted her hand. Beta, he said softly, I am proud of you. Even when you make my blood pressure go up. She leaned her head on his shoulder, just like when she was small. Thank you, she whispered, for crossing the ocean for me. Thank you, he answered, for reminding me why we came. A few months later, things changed. The Maple Street Inn was sold. The developers still built their new buildings, but the Patel's lawyer got them a much better payment. It still was not perfect, but it was enough to pay their debts and have some money left. On another street, closer to downtown, a new sign went up. Masala and Maple Cafe. Home is a flavor. Inside, the walls were painted a warm yellow. There was a mural with maple leaves and Indian patterns mixed together. The menu had masala fries, turmeric lattes, and pancakes with jaggery syrup. Truckers still came, now for chai and sandwiches instead of beds. College students came with their laptops. Families came after soccer games. On Friday nights, they moved the tables and had open mic nights. Young people came to read poems, sing songs, or tell stories. Some were children of immigrants, just like Nisha. They talked about feeling in between. They shared their pain and their jokes. Nisha sometimes read pieces that had started as podcast episodes. Her parents sat in the back, pretending not to stare at her too much. Halfway home was no longer a secret hiding place. It became a community of people who felt the same things. One evening, Nisha stepped outside the cafe. The air was cool. She looked through the window and saw her mother smiling as she handed chai to a customer. She saw her father arguing with a spice seller on the phone, trying to get a better price on cardamom. She saw two little kids drawing hearts on the foggy glass. The cafe smelled like cardamom and cleaning spray, just like the old motel, but this time it felt lighter. Nisha smiled. She still lived between two worlds, Indian and American, but now the between place felt like a bridge she had helped build. She went back inside. The bell over the door rang softly. On the small stage, a girl was telling a story about her parents and their grocery store. Nisha turned up the microphone and listened. Then, when it was her turn, she stepped up and began to speak Chu.